enjoy the show, yeah. Let the convo unfold, yeah. Try to learn something brand new. Facts over feelings, oh yeah. Don't get in your feelings, oh yeah. Sometimes you can be wrong too. Don't be stubborn, we can hear you. Have an open mind to the issue. We can always have a convo. We can cover any issue. As long as we can just be honest, then we won't have to dismiss you. So let's be honest, expand our worldview. We can laugh now, but also learn too. It's the C-band for show, real and genuine convo. It's okay not to know, that's what we're all here for. We cannot stay so ignorant. If we say we want to grow, that's why we have to look it up, and that's what we do on the show. So let's just sit down and have the convo. Don't let your emotions disrupt the flow of the show. Feelings, oh yeah. Don't get in your feelings, oh yeah. Sometimes you can be wrong too. Don't be stubborn, we can hear you. Have an open mind to the issue. We can always have a convo. We can cover any issue. As long as we can just be honest, then we won't have to dismiss you. So let's be honest, expand our worldview. We can laugh now, but also learn. It's the C-band for show, real and genuine convo. It's okay not to know, that's what we're all here for. We cannot stay so ignorant. If we say we want to grow, that's why we have to look it up, and that's what we do on the show. So let's just sit down and have the convo. Don't let your emotions disrupt the flow of the show. Feelings, oh yeah. Don't get in your feelings, oh yeah. Sometimes you can be wrong too. Don't be stubborn, we can hear you. Have an open mind to the issue. We can always have a convo. We can cover any issue. As long as we can just be honest, then we won't have to dismiss you. So let's be honest, expand our worldview. We can laugh now, but also learn too. It's the
So let me see. What's up, No Chaser? All right, man. I wasn't able to go live earlier in the week, but considering that today is a weekend and tomorrow is a holiday, I think I will be able to do what it was I could not do before. But that's besides the point. Yeah, I had a hard time coming up with a topic, or at least one that I felt like that really made me think a lot. But this one kind of works too. Whenever we start having these conversations about women, accomplishments, achievements, a lot of the bias starts to show. What's good, Truth? What's good? Hey, wait a minute. I see some. I'm seeing some. Oh, okay. Bet. But either way it goes, I don't know. Whenever we have these conversations, man, these this idea that men are more logical just starts to fall apart a little bit. It says facts, logic goes out of the door, and emotional biases take over. And it's to me, I don't understand why. Like we try having a conversation about if we start using the metrics of success for the average American citizen, black women are meeting that standard at the very least. They're meeting it, and for whatever reason, it was the hardest pushback on stuff that was simple. It wasn't even pushback. It was more like they're doing it, but they're not the best at it, or they're doing it, but they're failing, or they're just doing it as just regular shit. And it's like, bro, that's not really. We can't progress any further if that's where it starts and stops. But I don't know, man. I think this gender war thing is getting a little bit more out of control more than ever. Not only that, but it's starting to affect like the real world and outside of our just regular online conversation. Um and it's getting to that point. It's getting to that point where this is coming outside of just the regular um internet shit. And now it's going beyond that. But my thing is this, right? We do this whole thing about, especially conservatives, man. They do this whole thing about highlighting black people for their negative behavior, highlighting black women for the negative behavior, highlighting black men for their negative behavior. Anytime something's going on, they're not highlighting positive things, and they found a way to make positive things negative. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the whole prom issue where everybody made that a race thing, and then they made the graduation that people graduating from, what was it, high school or college, either one, and they made that an issue. It's like, bro, under no circumstance does it seem like there's ever going to be any forward movement, but that's okay. It begs the question: do black men really want to solve the problems, or need to be right and complain? Complaining is too strong. I don't know, man, because I can. It's not as if I'm unaware of male struggles or any man struggles. That's not the case, and it's not like I'm just so feminist or whatever the case may be that I can't recognize the struggles or the issues of either side. But the problem is you get stuck, and that's what I'm noticing. People are just getting stuck, making this thing a war In actuality, it's not, or it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. You should find the things that work and then try to implement that. And that's the thing, like everything that is happening that is good for the community, that I would say is good for the community, people are saying is bad or not good or worthless when it comes to relationship, and that's just not the case. And that's what we're just going to have to explore. We're going to have to explore if having a degree or your wife or significant other having a degree, vice versa, does that negatively impact the relationship? And what you'll find is, just like we've been doing when we look stuff up over here, is it probably don't hurt for her to have some level of education. In fact, it seems like the most successful group of people tend to be educated. So what does that say? What does that say about our stance on education, especially Black women in education? People downgrading it. So anyway, all right. So I guess my first claim that I have to tackle is they're not doing anything special. All right, let me share my screen. So we're gonna start with a new tab. We're gonna start with a new tab. There we go. Now, the first claim. Let me see. Is Black women, or matter of fact, yeah, Black women aren't doing anything special. They're just doing regular shit. We gotta qualify that. So let's do this. How many U.S. citizens have a degree? Okay, so over 50% of the United States adult hold a college degree or post-secondary credentials. Specifically, looking at Americans aged 25 and older, nearly half, about 49.6, have earned some form of post-secondary credential, or with over 35 holding a bachelor. Okay, so let me do this. Have a bachelor's degree. Okay. So over 57 million adults, American adults, about 35 to 38% of the population aged 25 and older, hold at least a bachelor's degree. So that makes sense, right? That last one, I'm like, wait, huh? Hold a college degree or post-secondary credential. This part right here, right? We're not looking for post-secondary credential. We're looking for somebody that went to a 4-year, got their 4-year degree, right? How many people have that? Okay. So let's see. American adults 35 to 38 of the population age 25 and older hold at least a bachelor's degree. When including advanced degrees like master or doctorates, nearly 40% of U.S. adults have completed at least 4 years of higher education. Okay. Key breakdown of educational attainment include age variation. So roughly 42.8% of adults aged 25 to 39, 41%, 41.5% of adults aged 40 to 54, and 34.2% of adults 55 and older have a bachelor's degree or higher. So they're in the minority. It's just simply put, they're in the minority. So people that have degrees automatically puts them in a smaller category than the overall U.S. population. So to say that they're doing regular things, it's just not true. It's just off of that fact alone, right? I would say when the number was 50, when we looked into it or first looked at it and it said 50, that would make it regular. But when the thing that got me was, what was it? Post secondary credential. I don't know what that is. Okay. So let me see. Let's do this. Let's go to the Census Go. Let's see. Maybe I can blow that up. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Census Bureau releases new educational attainment data. In 2024, 49.3% of employed workers had a high school diploma or associate's degree. 44.5 had a bachelor's degree or higher as their highest level of education attainment, and 6.1 did not have a high school diploma equivalent. In 2024, 76.5% of people who worked in professional and related occupations and 64.2 of people in management, business, and financial occupations held a bachelor's degree or higher. Okay, so this is saying those who had, a subset, which would be the people management, business, and financial. Most of them, or those people, have a high degree. Now, to see how rare that is, we'd have to go into deeper, figure out how many people within the U.S. population qualify for that, and how many of them are women, so on and so forth. But generally speaking, I'm just trying to get some information, right? The occupation with the highest percentage of high school diplomas or associate degrees, associate degree holders, was installation, maintenance, and repair. Okay. The industry with the highest percentage of workers with high school diploma or associate's degree was transportation and utilities. The industry with the highest percentage of workers with a bachelor's degree or higher were information and education and health services. Okay. The current population survey, sponsored by the Census Bureau of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, is the primary source of labor force statistics for the nation's population. More information on confidentiality protection, methodology, sampling and non-sampling error, and definitions is available in the technical documentation. All comparative statements in this tip sheet have undergone statistical testing and, unless otherwise noted, are all statistically significant at the 10% significance level. No new release associated with these products. Tip sheet only. Okay. So here's some things I think are important. Highlights. Age. In 2024, 42.8 of the population ages 25 to 39. Right. These are the people with bachelors. 41 for ages 40 to 54. And 34.2 for ages 55 and older. Now, here is the key part. Sex. In 2024, 40% of women and 37.1 of men ages 25 and older had a bachelor's degree or higher. So, some things we can already handle or really go off of is we already know that when it comes to education, the likely chance of the income being higher is exponential. All right. Someone with a college degree or college education is, on average, going to earn more than the person that does not. That's just something we need to acknowledge, something that's got to be true. So for every black man that says black men still earn more than black women, there needs to be a understanding that you cannot equate the average black man to the average black woman in that sense, because the types of jobs, the things that are more laborious, those things are just going to pay more, right? So of course the average, right, which means it's pulling from the highest of the highs all the way to the lows of the lows, and aggregate those and then divide them by the total amount, that is going to get you your average. So yeah, sure, the average. But the stance that a lot of the black men that combat black women that go to college is they go to school and they still don't make more money than the average black man. Now, it's not a gender banging thing for me. It's just more of a statistical fact. Like, if we're going to have a conversation about whatever we're going to have a conversation about, let's just be honest about it. There's no need to sit here and try to go, oh, well, black men without any degrees or certifications is going to earn more than a black woman with degrees and certifications because they just do. It's not going to work. It's not how that works. But let's get into it. All right. Occupation and industry. In 2024, 49.3% of employers or employed workers had high school degree associates. 44.5% had bachelor's degree or higher as their highest level of education attainment. And 6.1% did not have high school diploma or equivalent. All right. So I think I read this part earlier. Let's see. It did give us a link. Where does this take us? Oh. Okay, let's see. At some point, I think I'm gonna just have to read these and just present to y'all what I found, because reading this on stream would probably not be the most. I don't know if we'd be able to all follow along, but it's a very in-depth study, actually. Like, it's very in-depth. Holy crap. Total household income. Okay. But either way, that's besides the point. We so one, we know that what's happening is they're not doing normal, or what they're doing is regular. It's not the case. Most of the US population does not have a bachelor's degree or higher. Right. And if this is just too convoluted, I'll just go to, let me just use chat. All right, because chat GPT will also help that break that down. All right, so let's do this. Let's make that larger. Let's see. Do most US citizens have a bachelor degree or higher? Do most US, all right, so let's figure that out. Let's just do that. Do most US citizens have a bachelor's degree or higher? No. Most US adults do not have a bachelor's degree or higher. Recent US Census data shows that roughly 36 to 38% of Americans 25 or older have bachelor's degrees or higher. So we can go ahead and move forward with that. I think we can move forward with that. There's no need to cover that no more. Now, the next step is, on average, do most degree holders make more than non-degree holders? Yes, on average, people within the college with college degrees tend to earn more money than people without them in the U.S., according to the U.S. Bureau of Labels of Statistics. Median weekly earnings generally rise with educational level, right? High school diploma lower than median, associate's degree higher than high school, bachelor's degree significantly higher, graduate professional degrees highest average earning. Hey, Alexis. So again, this conversation about black men just out earning black women that have degrees needs to be looked at, because of course the first thing that is always said is they get basket weaving degrees. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm just here to be like black women are perfect and they have nothing to work on, but it's more so just to have an honest conversation about talking points that we've heard for years now. And I don't know if anyone's done the necessary research to prove themselves to be true or right. They just say it. And then when they say it, because they're in an echo chamber and they're surrounded by men that don't want women to be credited or be bested by women. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the issue is. Right? They're willing to accept it blindly. It's almost like anybody that deals with politics, like, funny enough, it's literally, it all aligns. It's normally conservative men that will say that about black women or women in general, whatever the case. Blah, say blah. I said it because I just believe it, and there's no real research done toward it. They do the same thing with politics. It's all kind of connected. There's a mindset or a personality or a brain wave that these people tend to have. And that's what I'm noticing. All right. So here's what we'll do. All right. All right. The earning gap is especially noticeable over a lifetime. Studies from the Federal Reserve and other researchers highlight. Research also show that bachelor's degree holders typically have higher lifetime income, lower unemployment rates, and greater access to salaried professional jobs. Right. That said, average does not equal do not apply equally to everyone. Some non-degree paths can outperform many degree holders financially, including skilled trades, entrepreneurship, sales, tech certification, real estate, specialized licenses, and certain union jobs. All right, sure. So now I need to figure out black women specifically, all right, because this is what it always comes back to. What degrees do black women typically receive, or what areas, or what degrees do black women typically receive, or what areas do black women typically receive degrees in? All right. Wow, what's good, foolish scholar? I don't know if you got the time, but I'm gonna drop the link, my boy. I'm gonna see if you. I have not seen you in a minute, dog. I have not seen you in a minute, man. All right. That is yeah, I like that. All right, let me see. Look at mm, mm, mm. All right. All right. Got it out. Mhm. All right. Now, where was I? All right, let's see what degrees. So, black women in the U.S. mostly commonly earn degrees in fields such as healthcare, health professionals, business, psychology, social sciences, education, biological studies, public administration, and social services. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, business and health professionals are among the top degree fields across racial groups, including black students. So this here, according to the National Center for Educational Statistics, is business and health professionals. And I don't think those are low paying degrees or areas. I don't know if y'all can see that. Maybe I need to make that bigger. So let me zoom in. Oh, 150. Uh-oh. Yeah. So what we'll do, right, according to the, so let's open this up. Maybe they get into the more detail. The National Center for Education Statistics is the primary federal agency responsible for collecting, analyzing, and reporting data on education in the United States. It provides statistical information to guide education policy and research across early childhood, K through 12, and post-secondary education. Key facts. Parent agency is Institute of Education Science, U.S. Department of Education. Okay, it's just giving us some stuff, historic, mandate, da 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 da. All right, but it's not necessarily going to the site. Let's see if we can find it here. So share this tab instead. This is coming from the National Center of Education Statistics. Most common undergraduate fields of study. What are the most common fields of study for undergraduate students? Post-secondary institution with the United States conferred 3 million undergraduate degrees in 2021 to 2022. That include 1 million associate's degrees and 2 million bachelor degrees at both levels. Business and health professions are related programs were among the top 3 most common fields of study in which degrees are conferred overall into students across racial ethnic groups. So even with that being the case, right? Because what they're talking about and what they try to make fun of, let's uncheck. Let's do this. Is liberal arts and sciences, general studies, and humanities. This is what they're saying most Black women are getting their degrees in, which is why they don't make any money, because that's the stigma of liberal arts and sciences, general studies, and humanities. This is the statement that gets made, but nobody has ever done the research to really find out if it's true. And come to find out, Black people, especially Black women, let me go back here, share this tab instead. According to the and this is a federally, so this is not no random liberal left-leaning blah blah blah, because and anytime you bring a statistic to these people, the first thing, it's a left-leaning, it's super liberal. And it's simply because they just don't want to accept the fact that, statistically speaking, it don't seem like they're, I don't know, it just doesn't match the bias. That's what you're going to notice and continue to notice from these people. Now, when I say these people, that would be manosphere, male-centric, red pill, whatever they want to call it. I don't even know what to call them anymore, because it's I don't know. They don't like the fact that they just don't like that shit. They don't like Black women doing good shit and being able to talk about it. They just don't like it. Anything that is praiseworthy, they're gonna shit on it or deny it or say, that's not true, it's propaganda, whatever it is, it's coming, right? And I expect the same thing vice versa. I'm not gonna make it seem like the Womanosphere or BWE or whatever is not going to do the exact same thing, because they're going to do the exact same thing. It's a war. For them, it's a war. For me, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what's true? And then whatever is true, try to make some applications to that if it's going to better me as an individual, right? Because I don't care if Black women are getting degrees and being doctors and making a bunch of money and are happy or not. That doesn't bother me. Right. And if I see a post where a Black woman is shitting on some Black man, I don't take that personally, because I don't know that lady and she don't know me. What I will do, if it makes sense, I will leave a comment and go, I don't think that makes sense here, and here. But I'll do the same thing for some man too who will say something crazy. Mr. Scholar, how you feeling, dog?
Yo, Chief, what's up with you?
Man, yeah. I'm good. What's up with you? It's been a minute, man. I'm getting back into the groove of it. Slowly. One a week, one live a week.
Hold up real quick. I'm gonna come back up.
Okay, baby.
What's going on with my audio? Can't hear myself.
All right. But anyway, so we'll do some more research and look, but based off of what it's saying, according to this, business and health professionals are among the top degrees filled in which racial groups, including Black students. So it's not basket weaving degrees like they would like to say. It seems to be things that make money. But here's what I'll do. All right, let's see. Engineering. This is the lowest. Wait, hold on. So these are the lowest right here. From my understanding, right? So based off of how this works, let's go bar. Number of degrees, liberal arts and science. And we'll go to the highest, right? Or the more recent, 21 to 22. Health, business, and then these are just smaller numbers regardless. And that's just overall. So this idea that it's Black women, bro, where does this, who comes up with this? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Clear as day.
So I came up a little bit late. What you talking about?
So we tried to have this conversation about measurement of success in the US, right? So we had this conversation at Hamp's channel. I told Hamp, because I knew at some point I knew whatever it is going to come. Whatever measures of success it is that we are going to use as a metric or a standard, Black women meet, but it's not going to be respected, or it's going to be disregarded or extremely criticized. All right, because that's just that is the type of men that are around the space. And it's not to say you shouldn't criticize anything or you can't scrutinize an accomplishment, but by and large, they're leading the charge in regards to that for Black people. It's Black women that's leading that charge. They're the more educated out of the group. They own the most homes out of the group. Most of the educated women are out earning the uneducated man on average. Most men don't have any certifications that could counteract the amount of money a degree could make. And I knew that if we were to bring that into the conversation, it's not going to be respected. It's not going to be cared about. None of those things are going to matter, even though factually speaking, that is the truth and that's the case.
Yeah.
So now I'm going over the talking points that, of course, you're going to hear, which is, well, they don't make more money. The Black man on average make more than a Black woman on average. But again, the average is the accumulation of the top and the bottom and the division of the total number of people that you pull from, not a specific look into educated versus non-educated. And what you find is the more educated a woman is, or educated, the more educated, forget woman, the more educated you are, the more likely you are to out earn people who are not educated. And it's just that simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's been trending in this direction for a while, though. So it's like, it's not even like rocket science to see that that's the case.
Right. But the thing is, Foolish Scholar, instead of it being acknowledged and going, okay, well, if that's the case, there seems to be a blueprint already being laid out that Black men or men in general should follow, which is get educated, right? Because education affects every aspect of your life more than what people would give credit to. Now, the counter, which typically comes from the men who don't like Black women, I'm going to say that, right? But I don't know how else to qualify it. They don't like the fact that Black women use their degrees or whatever to have a high standard. I don't know. The Black man, Black woman shit that we know. They're going to say they get their degrees in basket weaving. That's the majority of what they get it in. That's why their degrees don't matter, because they get it in basket weaving, and they don't get it in tech, and they don't get it in computer science, as if those are the only degrees that make money. Or let's say, oh, nurses, right? They did give credence to nurses. So my stance is, let's just look this stuff up and see what they get their degrees in, how much it work, how much money it makes typically, just a general level, and then let's start doing these comparisons fairly, instead of just saying, oh, they just get it in basketball degrees. And I'm like, well, okay, well, what percentage of that, what percentage of black women or women in general or educated people get it in that? And what you come to find out, most of them don't get it in that. Most of them get it in business and health professions, which are among the top degree fields across racial groups, including black students. So where did that come from? They just pull it out their ass, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to figure out what the truth is, right? Because I can't trust them to look it up and be honest with their findings. I can't trust black women because, of course, there's going to be a bias there. Somebody's got to just look it up for the sake of knowing what the truth is, so you can have a honest conversation the next time and figure out, hey, what areas of life do I need to, if I need to improve, what degree should I get? Also, what are they doing and how is that being rated as success?
Yeah, I think another thing that could probably be mentioned within this conversation is just like talking about certifications, right? People that's like getting, certifications for like trades, nursing assistant, construction, things like that. It's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be you go to a 4-year or a 2-year.
Agreed. So that was something that was already looked up before, previously, by Hamp and Fantastic, which is most men don't have certifications that would offset or counteract black women that have degrees. So I agree with you. That's not to say that a 4-year degree or institutionalized education, as far as like higher learning, means that everyone should do that. But if you're not even getting certifications in the things that could offset it, now what is the argument then?
Right.
And we'll look that up too, right? Because Hamp said he already looked it up, and I tend to believe Hamp and his work and due diligence to it. He also had Fantastic, which is included. Fantastic isn't dumb. I think his perspective and viewpoints are skewed or a little off, but he's not stupid. So if they came to the conclusion most men don't get those certifications and most men aren't trying to attain those certifications, if there's a continual gap between women getting education and men not getting certifications or education, then why are we trying to shit on the women that's doing something and going, well, we still make more than them? Not accounting for the women that don't have degrees. Of course, if like, for example, when I think of destitute or somebody that's just in poverty, I'm not thinking of a man. I'm thinking of a mom or a black woman, and then that mom may have children that developing the men. But I don't think most men are just gonna be destitute. They don't get no like, the thing that helps men make money is physicality. So you can make some kind of money up until you maybe like what, 45, if you don't do it right and you get a bad back or something. And so that helps you not be in poverty in the same way that a woman would be in, because things are completely different. We're not built the same physically in the type of jobs that pay well for that laborious type of labor. I feel like it's a double. Anyway, they pay more. A construction worker would go hit someone with a sledgehammer. You're going to get paid more than somebody working at the front desk of Ross, or whatever outlet store, or whatever the case may be. And you have more opportunity to do so. So yes, my expectation is the average uneducated man will probably make more money than the average uneducated woman. But where they start losing me is when they say the average uneducated man makes just as much, if not more, than the average educated woman. That's just not proven. I don't know if it's ever been proven. And the more we look at this, I think we'll find out it ain't been proven.
Nah, like you might be able to like contextualize it and talk about certain like fields and categories, but no, like by and large, no.
And then that's fine foolish scholar, because that is what they'll do. They'll target even the women with degrees. They'll target the quote unquote lower end of degrees and go, they all getting basket weaving. But based off of what I'm looking at, business and health is not basket weaving degrees. I'm going to look more into these degrees and the average salary for each one of them, and I guarantee you it won't be no doggone $28,000, whatever the lower income is. There's a strong essence and air of arrogance when you talk to these men and they're not being logical. They're just not. They're not considering these things, or they're just ignorant and they don't care to look these things up because it makes them feel better, because they don't want to think, oh, somebody with a degree is better than me, or they don't want to feed into the narrative. That's what, or they don't mind feeding to that narrative of black women just feel that way about the men because they have degrees. They feel like they're better. Well, if you had a degree and you had money, and matter of fact, men think they're better than women without the money and the degree. And they will outright say that. They would be like, yes, men are better than women. Under what metric? Strength? If you're saying strength outdoes money and degrees, then when somebody finally gets money and degrees, they go, we may not be strong, but I could just go pay somebody or educate myself to figure out a way around that. Why would they not feel like they're better?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a civilized like nation, so it's like, all right, if we talking about physical strength, it doesn't really come into it. We talking about mental strengths and social strengths at the end of the day. Like, who has the best network, who's able to leverage all the things that they have to become successful and live a good life. So, like, what are we really talking about?
Yeah. Okay, perfect example. Do we remember this dude here? CJ, I'm the prize. I'm the prize now.
Oh yeah, I remember that on socials. I remember that.
You know how many people, how many red pill specifically black, you know how many black red pill manosphere, whatever, they touted him and pointed to him and said, see, y'all, he know he the prize. And they may not have an education and they may not have graduated.
But yeah, like it's even stranger when you think about a lot of educated men want to get with educated women. So it's like, why are we even having a conversation about uneducated women and uneducated men? Because we like people date within their status and their bracket. So it's like, why are we even having that conversation?
It's almost like you have enough information to make the determination. Educated women and educated men seem like they belong together. And guess what? They want each other. So why are we trying to make this divide when even statistically speaking, they want each other and that's what they're looking for? It just so happens that educated men are on the lower end or more rare simply because most men don't have an education. But that's not the opportunity for you to be like, that's right, data prize. They're not you though. It's literally, and they do this. It's the same concept of them saying when you some girl gets smashed by Chris Brown, now she thinks she a 10. Some nigga get a degree and you think you fucking Einstein. What is the difference? Come on. And it don't even make sense to hold the position. It's unnecessary warfare. It's unnecessary divide. It's completely unnecessary. And then the things, the propaganda that you say makes it necessary, you're a part of.
Yeah, I do you one better. A man that make over 6 figures think that he the prize, but it's like some of these men that have a lot of money lack social skills, just basic social skills. So they struggle in the dating market because you don't know how to talk, right? You don't know how to have a conversation. You're awkward when you're interacting. So it's like a woman don't want to date you, and it's like that's just how it is.
Man, it's so unnecessary and it's so not helpful to try to have, like, especially when people keep saying they're trying to have good faith conversation. That is the shit that be blowing me. No, you're not.
Yeah, you
You can't even acknowledge. You can't even acknowledge the simple fact.
Right. If you can't concede to no points, you're not trying to have a good faith conversation. Right.
Come on, man. What are we doing? Like, come on, you're lying. No, you're not.
But what it is like a lot of times they'll gerrymander like stats and stuff like that just to support their own bias. And it's like, yo, come on,
instead of just reading the entire thing and going, oh, okay, here's the overall takeaway. They will highlight and cherry pick and pinpoint things that they think fits a narrative that in actuality it may not fit when you read the entirety of the situation. That's yeah.
You frame it in context. It's like, yeah, that's not what that was saying at all.
Anyway, but hey, Sugar Bum, what's up, Sunshine? I'm seeing faces and I'm seeing names I ain't seen in a minute. What's this? This is just us trying to figure out what's true versus not, man, because I'm tired of having these conversations about things that are just stouted to be true without any evidence of it. All right, so here's what we see. All right, data from the National Science Foundation also shows Black women are especially represented in psychology, social science, and biological sciences. All right, what is this? Field of degree, women, men, racial, ethnic. Let me look into that. What is that? Okay, so let's just do this. All right, women, minorities, and person with disabilities in science and engineering 2019. Differences between women and men, underrepresented minorities. In 2016, underrepresented minority women received more associate degrees in science and in S&E technologies than did their male counterparts. Men, however, received more associate degrees in engineering, S&E technology, science, engineering, health, and other technologies that prepare students for skilled technical jobs are an important part of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for the STEM workforce. At each degree level, underrepresented minority women earned a higher share of S&E degrees than did underrepresented minority men in 2016. Over the past 2 decades, the share of both underrepresented minority women and men receive S&E degrees has steadily increased at all degree levels. The share of both underrepresented minority women and men receiving S&E master degrees declined slightly in 2015 and 2016 because of an increase in master degrees earned by temporary visa holders. However, despite this share decrease, the number of master degrees earned by underrepresented minorities increased over this period. Associate degrees in science, engineering, S&E technologies by sex, ethnicity, and selected race, 2016. So S&E technologies, engineering, science. Okay. Hispanic man, Latino. All right. Sex, science, engineering. That's women. Engineering, S&E technology. Men. Hispanic or Latino men, 8,000. Okay. Engineering. Okay. Black or African American women, science, 496, 4968, 60. And then S&E technology, 13. What is that? All right, they're going to tell us that, I'm sure. African American men, okay, looks like there's 700 some change. Well, if we round up, that's fine. It's what? 970? So 760? If you round that up, 750? Okay, engineering, okay. All right, that's white people and native. Okay, whatever. Science and engineering, S&E. Oh, okay. Science and engineering technologies. So what is that specifically? All right, S&E technology includes science, engineering, health, and other S&E technologies that prepare students for skilled technical jobs. Race and ethnicity breakouts are for U.S. citizens and permanent residents only. Hispanic and Latino may be any race. Oh, that's true. So it could be Afro-Latino, Dominican, whatever the case. Data are based on degree granting institution eligible to participate in title what was that, 6? Yeah, Title 6 federal financial aid programs did not match previous published data that were based on accredited higher education institution. Okay. So sources, national science. Okay, got you. Science and engineering degrees earned by underrepresented minority women and men, and percentage of all S&E degrees awarded of each degree by degree type from 1996 to 2016. Okay. Hold on. They've gotta be sharing a chart. But in this, let me see. Refresh. Oh, okay, that's so much easier to read like this. Okay. All right, here we go. So science and engineering degrees earned by underrepresented minority women and men as a percentage of all science and engineering degrees awarded of each degree by degree type from 96 to 2016. So doctorate women, which is this here. Let me try to zoom in. There we go. Stop. All right, doctorate women. That's this here. Oh, I'll tell you right there. Bachelor women is 12.6. Bachelor men is 9. Master's women 7.8. Master's women men 5. Doctorate women 5. Doctorate men 3.8. It's even in this field itself. Or with this degree. Okay, bachelor degrees in science and engineering earned by. So even with that being the case, like this is what I mean. Like this is information that I feel like matters. Science and engineering degrees earned by underrepresented minority women and men as a percentage of all science and engineering degrees awarded of each degree by degree type. Even with this being the case, it's bro, I don't know. Like, stop. We got to stop with some of these things, bro. Some of these things are just not true. Some of these things are just absolutely not true. And who keeps telling them it's basket weaving degrees? Even when it comes to these underrepresented minority women and men, women are still beating men. Bachelor women 12, bachelor men 9, masters women 7.8, masters men 5.5, doctorate 5, doctorate men 3.8. Like, y'all gotta chill with this whole yo. All right, so it goes into bachelor's degree in science and engineering earned by American Indians and Alaskan and all that other stuff. Hawaiians, sex and field. I mean, that's cool. I'm just trying to figure out where we get this from. And at some point, the men were beating the women. Bachelor, let's see. Can you scroll? So we'll start from bachelor men. Bachelor men was 6, 7.8, men 3.9, or maybe not. They was winning in doctorate. And that's the other thing too. The numbers for the men is increasing. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, and 9. Bro, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. Let me see. STEM, stand up. Oh, okay. What's up, Brittany? Hey, Cheeky, what a beautiful title. LOL. I've been said it, but I guess because peanut. Yeah, Brittany. Of course, the very illogical mindset of men towards successful women. I don't understand it. Team ownership. Hey, I'm not sure who that is specifically, but hey, Sherelle. Ninja was good. House husband Sith Lord Cheeky. I am not a Sith Lord. Patriarchy will win forever, bro. It's slipping very, very, very far and hard. That is slipping. That patriarchy shit is slipping. Hey, this birth rate crash, but that's a lot going on right now. It's slipping bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I don't like how we talk about the patriarchy because it's like it's always been a few powerful men. It's not always. Men. It's always been like a little oligarchical situation going on.
Bruh. Bruh. It's always been that. But because those men represent all men, I guess, because that's how they view it. See, and that's the issue that I have with, the woman or feminine aspect of it. Oh, what's up? Okay. Because this has been maintained by white men specifically.
Yeah,
it goes across and comes across all men, I guess, and that's how women kind of see it. But it's very similar, right? With men, these group of women represent all group of women, and then when you go outside, that is just not the case. But regardless of that, this right here, I thought they only got it in basket weaving. They are getting it in some of the most key items that we need. Bro. Come on. Look, women, minorities, and persons with disabilities in science and engineering. And it's tracking you. It's letting you know on all fronts. And here it is, black, because they did it by black men and women, right? Black or African American men. Science, engineering, S&E technology. They are even with that being the case with science, they're outdoing the men. Maybe not with engineering, but with science, engineering, and technologies, they're the highest. Maybe I need to look up more because I'm not sure. I'm not sharing my screen for that. At this, it's all right here. So even let's look up science and engineering technology and see what it is, right? Because I know that's gonna be the next step. Next step is, well, they outnumber us in science and engineering technology, but what does that bring to the world? Science, engineering, and technology. What is that? Science, engineering, and technology are interconnected disciplines that drive human innovation, often grouped under the umbrella of STEM. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. Oh my, it is STEM. It's STEM. Regardless of what they, I think I actually know let me see if she picked up. I gotta see this, bro. I cannot believe this. All it is talking about basket weaving degrees, and with any degree that even when it comes to STEM, technically, forget technically, when it comes to STEM, they're outdoing men, black or African American women. If you told her that number, what's Foolish Girl, you got a calculator?
Hold up, I can pull it up.
I can pull it up. I'm on the computer. I don't know why I asked that dumbass question.
All right.
I don't know why I asked that dumbass question. I can literally pull it up myself. All right. Let's see here. Now I got to share my. This is so incredibly ridiculous. Share screen. We're gonna go window. Okay. No, I can just do tab. Why? Anyway, I'll do the math, or we'll do the math together. How about this? We'll do the math in the chat. I need chat participation. That's what I need from y'all. We're gonna do the math together. That way we all learn, because the best way to learn, at least for me, is being an active learner, right? Being a part of the class, being a part of the damn thing, right? I was never a good student ever in my life, dead ass retarded. I know my mom and dad wished that one of them chromosomes made it, but because I'm lacking one, and that's okay, I need y'all's help. All right. What I want y'all to do is add 13,122 plus 4,968 plus 60. Okay. That's what I need for y'all to do. I'm going to say it one more time, right? Y'all help me do some math so we can be a part of the conversation all together now. All together, we're learning. Again, this is for Black women specifically. I need you to add 13,122 plus 60 plus 4,968. Now, once that's added, all right, put it in the chat for me. Foolish Scholar, if you doing the math too, you can let me know. Whichever one. Put it in the private. I'm gonna see if I can call somebody to see if she was part of that conversation technically, or part of STEM. Let me go on mute for a second. Yeah, I know I was on mute. I just wanted to make sure she was okay with being on the stream or whatever the case. All right, so it looks like we got 18,150. So that is the total amount of women that was that received that degree based off of this information here. Now, are we ready for the next category is Black men. Now, I want y'all to add 5,187. Let me zoom in. Maybe y'all can even see it. Plus 348 plus 4,217. What's good, Cody? The women own the house, the man roommate in the apartment, and that's fine. I don't mind that. Absolutely, but and if that's the case, we should just be able to acknowledge that. Yeah, they got the homes. All right, 9752. Oh my God. Okay, so now that I have both the numbers, what I'm going to do is go to a Google calculator. Oh my God, bro. Share this tab. Let's see. Let's go calculator. All right. 9752. Let me highlight that. 9752. So 18,150. 18,150 divided by, what is it? 9752, right? 9752. 9752. It's almost a 2 to 1 ratio. No way. No. No. This is almost a 2. If you round that up, that's 1.9. And if you round the 1.9 up, it's 2. So you mean to tell me in STEM, bro, we got to do better with this whole just saying shit. It's just not true. Share this tab. It's just not true. That is the total. That 18, what was it? That 18,150 is the total amount of Black women involved with STEM. Associate degrees in science. Associate degrees, right? Now let's see. Maybe is that bachelor's? Because what is this? Let's see. Let me make sure. Science, engineering, technology, clues. But is this representing a bachelor's or associates only? All right. In 2016, underrepresented minority women received more associate degree. Okay, so this is associate degrees, not bachelor's. That matters. In science and however, receive more associate degrees in engineering. All right. At each degree level, underrepresented so it don't even matter. At each degree level, underrepresented minority women earned a higher share of over the past 2 decades. So I think it's this shows this too. So it doesn't matter. Even when it comes to bachelors, men and women, the women is still higher. It's still there. So it don't matter. Bachelors, women, 12.6. Bachelors, men, 9.0. Masters, women, 7.8. Masters, men, 5.5. It don't matter. It don't matter. That's what we're finding out. When it comes to STEM, even in STEM, because this women, minorities, and people with disabilities in science and engineering, even in STEM, bro. Like, bro, come on, bro. Come on. Okay, wait. Bachelor degrees. Okay, it doesn't change. Because we're learning, like, again, I'm down to be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. that doesn't bother me to be wrong, but I'm willing to at least look it up to make sure I'm wrong. Bachelor degrees, Hispanic and Latino women. All right, I don't care. Here we go. Black or African American women. Science and engineer bachelor degrees earned by Black or African American women as percentage of degree field by field 1996 to 2016. So we're going to read this first. Black or African American women, similar to Hispanic or Latino women, earn a higher share of bachelor degrees in psychology, social science, and biological sciences than in any other board of um, science and engineering field. And they have increased their shares in these fields over the past 2 decades. Their shares of bachelor's degrees in the other science and engineering fields have declined since 1996. For engineering and for mathematics and statistics, the fields with the lowest shares, this represents over 1,000 Black or African American women who receive, bachelor's degrees in engineering in 2016, and over 500 who receive such degrees in mathematics and statistics. So let's do this. Okay, so there's an increase in all of these, with the exception of physical science. It seems like there's a decrease there. Okay, but this is only specific to women. But the point is that the point that I think this makes sense. They're still growing in that. But what I'm trying to figure out is where are the men in comparison? Because that's the thing that keeps happening. They want to keep making this thing a comparative thing, and I just don't think it makes sense to do that. So it says this for here, but it highlights women specifically. But this gives you the differences. This is a governmental website. Nobody's making this up. It's not a left or a right thing. It's just a thing that seems to be factually incorrect by most of the men. So now that we've gotten past the fact that, one, this is not an average thing, all right, let's share this tab instead. We can sit here and say what they're doing is regular, but that is not the case. Based off of this, do most U.S. citizens have bachelor degree or higher? No, that is not regular. In fact, only 36 to 38% of Americans 25 years or older have a bachelor's degree. So that it's irregular. That means it's not the norm. It's we know that their degree is not in basket weaving, right? It says right here the earnings gap. Here it is. What areas do Black women typically receive degrees in? Right here, according to the National Center of Education Statistics, business and health professions are among the top degree fields across racial groups, including Black students. We know it ain't in basket weave. This don't sound like basket weaving. Business and health professions. This don't sound like basket weaving. Does that sound like basket weaving to you? Does it sound like basket weaving to anybody? I don't really sound like basket weaving to me. What else? Data from National Science also shows Black women are especially represented in psychology. So here's the next step. Here's what we need to do. Education and social service. All right. So by comparison, Black women are statistically less represented in engineering, mathematics, and computer science, although participation in STEM fields have increased over time. Now, based off of the information we just looked at, they do fall into they are represented well within this group of science and engineering based technology. All right, but let's go back. So next thing we got to do is, I'm going to ask for the average. Can you provide the average salary for each of those for each of the Black women commonly earn degrees? All right, let's see what it does. I bro, come on, bro, come on, come on, come on, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. Here are estimated U.S. Median or average salaries associated with some of the most common degree fields earned by Black women. These are broad national estimates and can vary a lot by location, experience, industry, and whether some continues to graduate school. Healthcare nursing, registered nurse, healthcare admin, public health, 86,098. Business management, HR, operation, marketing, 75K. These ain't no anyway. Psychology, counseling support, HR, social services, 60K. Median overall for psychology degree holders. Education, teachers, administrators, 61 to 65 for many teaching roles. Social work, human services, case management, community programs, 45 to 65 depending on the role. Biological science, lab work, healthcare research, 60 to 85K depending on the specialization. Public admin, government, nonprofit management, 60 to 90K depending on the position. Okay, I'm gonna read the matter of fact, I'll read these now. It's not that much. A few important points. Nursing and healthcare related degrees tend to produce some of the strongest earners among the most common degrees earned by Black women. Psychology and social service related degrees often require graduate schools to teach higher salaries. Business degrees have a very wide range, a salary range, because outcomes depend heavily on specialization. Finance, supply chain, MIS. Teacher salaries vary significantly by state and district. For comparison, median earnings for all U.S. bachelor degrees holders overall are roughly around the low to mid 70K range. Why do we try to make it seem like they just making chump change? I wish I was making 70, 60, a strong 50K over here, buddy. I'm not finishing on no Black woman because they make more than me. Sorry. And if she get a degree and go, oh, that don't bother me. I guess it's time for me to get a degree. That don't bother me. They're lying. These are not basket weaving degrees. They're lying. They're wrong. They're lying. They're just making shit up. They're just making it up. And again, I don't mind. I don't like. It's not like I'm trying to cape or cope for anybody or any woman. I don't care. But the truth of the matter is, that's not the truth. They're not just getting basket weaving degrees. What is the average? You know what? Here, this is what we're gonna do. Average male. Let's do that, right? Because this is what salary. Yeah, let's do that. Average uneducated let's see. If uneducated mean Black man without a bachelor's degree, average. All right. So less than high school diploma is roughly 35 to 40. All right. So no high school diploma only, roughly 45 to 50. Some college or associate's degree. Oh, that's educated. right? I would consider that educated, right? Associate's degree, that would be educated. And based off of what we saw earlier, you can have an associate's degree in this and make some money, right? Associate's degree in science, engineering, and science and engineering technologies. You can have an associate's degree, but that's educated. Look like you got to have some level of education to fuck with somebody that has education. It looked like the average, and again, this is a range. At the lowest, I see 45. At the highest, I'm seeing 98. At the highest for all of them is 60. So at the lowest of somebody with an education, right, it's 45 to 65. But at the highest, you can't even touch it. For broader context, U.S. workers overall with only a high school diploma only earn about 49 median annually. Black households overall had a median income around 57K recently. Household, right? That includes man and woman. Though household income is different from individual earnings. There's also major difference based on trade certifications. And again, based off of what Hamp was saying, they're not getting the trade certifications. So it ain't that many black men that's just doing that. We got to have an honest conversation. Union jobs, military background. And it's not that many black people in the military. I'm sorry. The overall amount of people in the United States military, I think is 1%. Me and Fantastic Duke talk about that all the time. It ain't a lot. So we can use that. Location, age, and industry. For example, black men in skilled trades, logistics, my guess is trucking, utilities, my guessing is plumbing and stuff like that, tech certs, government work, or entrepreneurship can earn well above the average without a bachelor's degree. Now, what I'll have to do is ask him. Let me see if I can get in contact with him to see how he calculated that. Let me see if I can get in contact with him real quick. All right. No pickup, but from my understanding, I think it was saying 4% may have their certifications. Let's just see if we can find it quickly. All right. Let's see. Can't remember. Was it just certification? There's not a widely what percentage only one means. Okay. The best federal data usually tracks according to U.S. education groups, black and overall somewhat less likely than white Americans. So professional licenses and certifications to millions. For black, specifically, about 22 to 23% of black men 25 up have a bachelor's degree or higher. And they tried to say there was a 7% change. It was only the difference between a black man that has a bachelor's degree and a black woman is like 7% was actually said. Like seriously, that was a thought. But again, you don't know what you don't know. 22 to 23%. Many others instead pursue trade license, CDL, military credential. That's fine. I get that. All right. So federal suggests that across the total U.S. workforce, roughly 20 to 25 of adults had some type of occupational license. This is the entire workforce, though. 25. So only 20 to 25% of adults hold some type of occupation license or certification. That's it. But the limited race and gender specific breakout data for Black men alone. But there is limited. Okay, all right. So, but there is limited race and gender specific breakout data for Black men alone. Okay, what is that breakout data? Census Bureau, the percentage of population so it's not what I'm looking for. We already read that. Race and ethnicity in higher education. Educational attainment by race, ethnicity among all adults 25. We already read that. There's what is the limited data? Let me type that. Okay, get that, but what is it? All right, so the limited data means the federal government does not consistently publish detailed statistics, specifically isolating Black men only, certification hold only, across every type of credential, and one of the most data sets include group people into broader categories like Black or African adults, men overall. So what is it for example, the U.S. Department of Education found that 1 in 5 adults had a work certification or license, and Black adults overall were slightly more likely than some other groups to hold one. But many reports do not break down as specifically as X percent of Black men have occupation. Okay. Another limitation is the certifications are fragmented across industries. There is no single national registry tracking all of those together by race and gender. Research, therefore, often rely on labor force surveys, census data, or occupational license studies instead of single exact percentage. What about the available data shows? Occupational license data are associated with higher wages on average. Black workers are somewhat underrepresented. Whoa. Black workers are somewhat underrepresented in license and occupational compared to white workers overall. So even with that being the case, they're saying it's underrepresented. The certifications and license can significantly improve earnings of Black men in some industries. So generally speaking, even with the information we have, it says 25% of men, all men or people. What did it say? Men or people? Let me go back. Federal, just roughly 20 to 25% of adults, not some women included too, hold some type of occupational license or certification. That's not a lot. It's not a lot. That's not a lot. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop. You got to stop saying that all they're getting their degrees in is basket weaving. All they're getting their degrees in is this, that, and the third. When there is not enough educated Black men to, like we can't keep doing this thing. It don't even make sense. It don't make sense. The average uneducated Black man is not making more money than the average educated Black woman. It's just not the case. And if we let's look that up, right? Because I did this before. Let's do it again. All right. So does the all right. So I looked up, does the average educated Black woman make more than the average uneducated Black man? Yes, on average, Black women with college degrees tend to earn more than Black men without college degrees. For example, national earnings Data generally show Black women with a bachelor's degree often earn roughly 60 to 80K depending on the field and occupation. And we've already looked up and we went through that already. Black men with only high school diploma often earn roughly 45 to 50 on average. So statistically, an educated Black woman will usually out earn a Black man with a degree on average. However, there's some important nuances. It's going to be the same thing we just looked up. Some non-degree Black men in trades, transportation, utilities, union work, sales, entrepreneurship, or tech certifications can't earn well above many degree holders. Certain low-paying degree fields may not outperform high-paying skill trades. Men overall still tend to work more hours on average. So this is the offset too, working more hours on average. So if somebody's got a salary and you've got an hourly job at construction, if you work 80 hours a week, like we heard somebody on the panel say, if you work 80 hours a week to make just a little bit over or not that much over somebody that got a 9 to 5, a 40-hour week, then sure, you're working twice as hard to make more, and you are making more. I'm not going to disagree with that. But again, whatever. Certain low-paying degree fields may outperform high-paying skilled trades. Men overall still tend to work more hours on average and are more represented in some high-risk, high-pay industries. So that'll be oil rigging and stuff like that. But how many men are in oil rigging? Again, there is also a persistent racial and gender wage gap in the U.S. labor markets. Black women typically earn less than white men and white women on average, but education substantially increased earnings for Black women compared to having no degree. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and National Center for Education Statistics, higher educational attainment is strongly associated with higher median income across all racial groups. And that's just the fact. That's just the fact. Here's where we at. This may be a short stream. This may be a short stream. Not too many. It's really hard work. I know there ain't that many oil riggers. How many oil riggers do you know? Pause. Because oil riggers from white men can sound like oil. No, let me stop. I don't know what to tell y'all. We got to start with the very illogical mindset of men toward successful women, college educated women. Oh, I know what I was supposed to look up. Almost in the stream. I forgot. We need to look up what education does to marriage. we almost forgot. I almost forgot. This is a complete live stream where we show that on every level, success, on every measurable level of success, the likely chance of it being a Black woman just keeps getting higher and higher. And what I'm saying is, I'm not, and it's not because I have an issue with Black women. I don't mind being a Black woman advocate, you know what I'm saying? Women power, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just trying to keep it I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to be honest here. We can't even, I just want to be honest. I don't know what to tell. I don't know how much more I can deal with just people lying, because none of the stats show that. And again, if it did, I would be on the side like, y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. When this, that, and the third. It's out of hand, man. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop. All right, so let's see. Let's do this. Does having education, bro, I can't believe I gotta look this up. increase likelihood of, let's say, divorce. I think it'll no, immediately. I thought it was gonna give me some articles that would support the claim. It immediately, no, bro. Come on, we've got to stop it. We got to stop it. God dang, we got to stop. All right, man. Let's see if we can find an article. I know for a fact I clicked and have read an article. Does that increase likelihood of successful marriage? It was this, I think, the Pew Research. And again, these aren't left leaning. These aren't Democrat. I'm a conservative man. It ain't Democrat. There you go, going that Democrat. The Democrat side. There you go, going that Democrat side. It ain't that. It ain't that, nigga. I'm just looking stuff up. And if you got something else, I need you to provide it. Because every single time I ask people to provide something, they never send the click. They never send the link. They never send it. I'm like, where do you get that from? Can you send that to me? I just want to read it. Damn Democrat, dim dong, Jim dong, dim dong, Democrat. All right, bro. Let's see here. The link between a college education and lasting marriage. And this is February 19th, 2026. No, bro, not the most recent data. No. This was only like 3 months ago. This shit is OD. I did not read this link. I didn't read this article at all. There's one older than this that proves it. Bro, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. This isn't good. I'm hoping that you all have a fighting chance so y'all just don't be wrong on all fronts. But this is not good. The link between a college education and a lasting marriage. College educated women are more likely to have long lasting marriages. Probably that a first marriage will serve at least 20 years. God, all women, 52. And their bachelor's degree, 78. Bro, come on. Bro, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Nobody's even trying to be a feminist. It just so happened the fucking data just makes you one. I don't know what to tell you. Oh my God. This is insanity. Anyway, probability that the first marriage will last at least 20 years amongst women. And by all metrics of success, 20 years is a good marriage. Even if it were to end in the 20th year, I wouldn't say, oh, you were unsuccessful. Well, sure, I would say, I guess. I don't know. Either way it goes. 20 years, people are hoping and praying for 20 years. Bachelor's degree, 78%. Last at least 20 years. Some college, 49. At least last 20 years. High school or less, 40. About half of first marriages in the U.S. are likely to survive at least 20 years, according to the government estimates. But for one demographic group, marriages last longer than most. College-educated women have an almost 8 in 10 chance of still being married after 2 decades. Researchers at the National Center for Health Statistics estimate that 78% of college-educated women who married for the first time between 2006 and 2010 could expect their marriages to last at least 20 years. But among women who have high school education or less, the share is only 40%. Now, I already know what's going to happen. That's estimated. Okay, fair. But you see how I keep saying education gives you a better estimate because nobody knows? Nobody knows. But if you had to take a guess or a bet or a gamble, guess what you would need to get based off of the information that's coming from the government. And again, the National Center of Health Statistics is not one of these left-leaning liberal. Them damn commies, damn liberal, damn feminists. Liberal, Donald Trump. Look, bro. Fight with the government. Don't fight with me. I am literally not doing anything besides just reading the information that is given. Researchers at the National Center for Health estimates that 78% of college-educated women who married for the first time between 2006 and 2010 could expect their marriages to last at least 20 years. But among women who have high school education or less, the share is 40. Now they give a timeline for the first time between 2006 and 2010. Right? I guess there's some information there, and I don't mind looking into it. Let's see what it says. I'll come back to it. Oh my God, it's really not that long. It's only 22 pages, but I know we don't have the attention span for it. And I'm not saying that to be disparaging or condescending, but I just know it. The probability of a lasting first marriage is derived from marital history. Okay, so now they're giving us what it is that I'm looking for, or they're giving us the formula on how they're calculating this. Excuse me, I was dying. My bad. So they're giving us the formula. The probability of a lasting marriage is derived from marital history data from the National Survey of Family Growth. Again, one of those national surveys, bro. A nationally represented sample of women and men who were ages 15 to 44 between 2006 to 2010. Estimates are based on the approach similar to that used to determine life expectancy. So again, they're giving you the formula. They're saying the same way we calculate the life expectancy is the same way we're calculating this. And we tend to use life expectancy like we have no qualms with that. Nobody ever questions, how do they calculate life expectancy? I'm going to live to 120. If you're okay with the life expectancy, you're going to be okay with this too, buddy. Fight with them, not me. And assume that marriage patterns in future will follow patterns today. The findings refer only to opposite sex marriages. The sample size was too small to analyze same-sex marriages. So it means specifically for you. If you have a penis and she's got a vagina, this is for you. If you like other shit, you too small of a sample size, bro. Pause for that. No, I feel like pause. All right. Reasons for marriage ending include divorce and separation. Marriage that end in death were not included in the analysis. One limitation of the survey was that it did not include adults over age 44, and therefore does not take into account long-term marriages that started later in life. So he's even being fair and saying, oh, niggas that got married, sorry, we didn't really count y'all. And that's cool, because, I don't think the average the average age of marriage is not 44 in the US. It's 28 for men, or 29 for men, and 27 for women. It's close to the 30s. Late 20s, early 30s. So that's fine. It's okay. Now, the findings are yet further evidence of marriage gap in the US along educated lines. College educated adults are more likely to be married than less educated adults. So now we have to ask the question, when the educated black woman is saying, I'm looking for an educated black man, is that so crazy to ask for? Statistically, it seems to be the best suited way or best suited nature, but the ask only makes sense. Give me a second. I'll get in the call. I know I'm on mute. All right. All right. All right. I know I'm mute. I'm back. Now, the question that I had was, what was your calculation with the 4% for black men with certifications, right? Now, uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. I think it was between 4 and 6% when me and Miss Fantastic looked it up.
Okay, man. So we are breaking this whole men being very illogical, like having a very illogical mindset towards successful black women, and doing so. I'm doing all the looking up, all the things that I couldn't do on the show out of respect for it being your channel, stuff like that. I'm doing it on mine. So when you get a chance, if you get a chance, just take a look at the stream, and then you'll see all the information that all of these men that annoy the fuck out of me just bypass. But yeah, I was missing that 4 to 6% part because I was trying to look it up. I was like, how did they calculate it? I don't know. Yeah. But it is 4 to 6% of black men that get certificates.
Yes, they have the certifications, i.e., electrician, plumber, etc.
And that is key. That is very key.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Right. As one of the few men that I know in this space that look for just the truth, just to have an honest conversation with just facts and evidence. I appreciate that.
No doubt.
My brother.
Indeed.
All right, dog. I'll catch you later.
Right. I can say.
We gotta stop making shit up, bro. Even if men had the certifications, it's only 4 to 6%. And I'm trusting him, right? I'm trusting him in Fantastic's due diligence when it comes to this information. Yo, we've got to stop just making stuff up just because we don't like the other side. It don't even make sense. And Trigger Mike, I seen you. What are you talking about? Stop it. This is nonsense. Most successful men are married to successful women. The point is mute. No, it's not mute. Because guess what? If you want a successful marriage, the likely chance or the things that you would have to do and it's tied to is going to be education as well. You want to know how I know that? Because everything that we're saying when it comes to money is usually tied to education, but yet we're trying to demonize a group of people that are pursuing education and going, why are y'all pursuing education? That doesn't help the black man or his family. Apparently it does. Because what y'all niggas can't stay married. That's what y'all be saying. Then this shit 70% of divorce. My curiosity will be now, how many percentage of those people that was married both had college degrees? I'm going to start asking those kind of questions because you niggas just don't want to be honest about just what the findings statistically. You're not arguing me no more. You're arguing with pure researchers. You're arguing with national study things, surveys. You're arguing with the federal government and their fund. You're not arguing with me no more. Y'all niggas is tripping. And it's all because you don't want something. For whatever reason, black women just grind your gears. All of them. And me personally, I don't have any issues with black women. I just don't. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying there aren't things that they can work on an individual level. But statistically speaking, you're not arguing against black women anymore. You're not arguing against me anymore. You really were never arguing against me, to be honest, to be fair. Now, y'all don't argue against me, to be honest. Y'all always argue against an article I bring up or the conclusion that I come to due to the article and facts versus y'all just saying, that's not true. Black women, black women, black women, black women, black women. Nigga, fuck is you talking about? Black women don't got shit to do with this no more. Black women, liberal boys, and liberal Democrats. That's the problem. It's black women. That's exactly how y'all sound. I'm gonna start doing that voiceover for each one of y'all niggas because every single nigga that come up is conservative fighting against this. I think that black women need to be in the kitchen and hold the family together by cooking collard greens, cornbread, and sitting in a damn apron. That's what I believe. How much you make a year? Well, I make about 50,000, 60,000. Now, are you dating somebody? Yeah, I'm dating her. She got a college degree? Absolutely. How much does she make? $70,000. She's got a PhD. And why do you want her in the kitchen? Because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how God made it. God made man, woman, then child. Well, what if the woman's smarter than you? Well, that can't be the case. Well, why not? Because I'm a man, and that's what men do. We're just smarter. We're just better. What evidence do you have? God made man, then the woman, then the kid. These niggas is so ridiculous. And they mean it. These niggas be dead ass talking about they logical too. Like, bro, come on. These niggas be dead ass too. Dead ass serious. That's dead ass fucking serious. Why are men better than women? Because men are just more logical. They are just more logical. Okay, what degree do you have to show any level of, understanding of logic or anything of that nature? I'm a man. What do you mean? What degree? I don't need a degree. One drunk man is smarter than one. It's like that African dude. One drunk man is smarter than a woman with a PhD. Are you fucking stupid? He's stupid. Are you fucking stupid? Oh my God, bro. I cannot. I don't understand. I don't. For the life of me, man. I'm sorry. I don't lost track of where we was at. I was on the phone trying to make sure my bad. I was talking to an educated black woman, trying to figure out if she was okay with, being on the street, making sure I protect her from the foolishness and stupidity that tends to be on these internet spaces. So I didn't want to just bring her on stream. Hey, by the way, no, just need to have a conversation. Then I talked to an educated black man, and then I talked to these uneducated niggas. They just want to take away their rights. They can't vote. It should be household voting, and the man should cast the only vote because I believe that. Well, why do you believe that? Because I'm a man. Like, nigga, that ain't gonna, that is never, niggas need to be smart, bro. I hate it here. God damn. All right, here we go. Reasons for marriage ending include divorce and separation, blah, blah, blah. All right. So right here, the findings are yet further evidence of the marriage gap in the U.S. along educational lines. College-educated adults are more likely to be married than less educated adults. Now, for those who are saying, oh, that's a moot point, that is not what a pure survey, again, y'all are not arguing with me no more. Y'all are arguing with people who are smarter than me and more likely you, to be honest. Right. And not only is it just them, it's a group of them. It's Pew researched. All right. So among those who were ages 25 and older in 2014, 65% of those with a bachelor degree or more were married, compared to 53% of the adults with less education, according to the Pew Research analysis. While the research does not address reasons these marriages last longer, we do know college-educated adults marry later in life and are more financially secure than less educated adults. So not only do they have more money or more financially secure, but they tend to think a little bit more about it and not do it when they're young and dumb. Excuse me. That is what a lot of people say. Oh, I got married young. I didn't know myself. Now people are learning not to do that and doing it at an older age with more financial security. Oh, and guess what? The results say that's probably the best way to do it. While more educated women have the highest chances for a long-term marriage, college-educated men also stand out. I don't believe in going to school. School is a scam. School is not good. School is a scam. What you want me to do, bro? What do you want me to do? Let's read it again. While more educated women have the highest chances for a long-term marriage, college-educated men also stand out. Roughly 2/3, 65% of men with bachelor degrees could expect that if they marry, their first marriage will last 20 years or longer, compared to 50% of men with high school diploma or less. In addition, men with the higher level of education are more likely to get married in the first place when compared with less educated men. What do you want me to do? I'm not making this up. I'm only presenting information. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. I'm just trying to find information to solidify maybe a thought or an idea. And again, thoughts and ideas can change. I'm not against that, but the more information you receive, the more changing you should do if it's not aligned with the information or data that is being supplied. Unless you have some data that is just not being considered, I'm not trying to hear any more of this bullshit. You don't have anything. You're not presenting what needs to be presented. You're failing. This is not a man or woman thing. This is just information. Give me information to change my mind, and I promise you I'll do it. I might even do it on the spot after after scrutinizing it just a little bit. Hey, well, was this considered? The reason why I'm not scrutinizing this information, because this is a rebuttal to information that's already been scrutinized. This is the findings that people are not looking for or searching for, and it's being presented. I am not biased. I take that back. I am biased. I'm biased towards men, ironically enough. I'm more likely to be biased towards men because I am a man. So I understand that experience 110. I get that. So I understand the experience of depression and understand the experience of not being considered or being looked over because you're just a man, being looked up as a predator. That bear versus man shit still pissed me off today. But what I'm not going to be is illogical or a liar or unfair or not check my bias. At least I'll check it. I think this way because I am a man. I understand that. I know that. Let me see if I can find some information that may go against what I believe. And if so, what is my thought towards that? Bro, come on, bro. Y'all, I am one of the few people that will just give it straight. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But one thing I'm gonna do while being right is show you where I got it from. Y'all. And it frustrates me because you get people that'll say, I'm not biased. Or the worst thing, especially when it comes to politics, I'm a centrist. Okay, you're a centrist. What are your beliefs? Who you listen to, and where do you get the information? My belief is conservatism. I listen to Donald Trump. I get my information from Fox. Like, bro, what do you Anyway, bro, I'm done. Let's keep. So sharp differences on longevity of marriage by race, ethnicity. Probability that the first marriage will survive among women. Okay, let's look at this. Let me get out of this and then put in the regular view. It's showing me something. All right, here we go. There also are distinctive patterns in marriage longevity by race and ethnicity. Some of these differences could be related to educational differences among adults with different racial or ethnic backgrounds. Asian women, who are among the most educated, are more likely than any other racial or ethnic group to have a long-term marriage. There's some correlation there. For Asian women who were married for the first time between 2006 and 2010, the chances that they may celebrate their 20-year wedding anniversary is nearly 70%. By contrast, about half of Hispanics and white women may see their marriage last that long. And for Black women, the chance is 37%. Among men, Hispanics have the highest likelihood of being in a long-lasting marriage, Findings about Asian men are not included because the sample size was too small to be nationally represented. Okay. For those who are married for the first time between 2006 and 2010, about 6 in 10 Hispanic men, 62%, could expect that their marriage to last at least 20 years, compared with 54% of white men and 53% of black men. Huh. Okay. Let's see if we can find. Let's go. So let's see. So this is a standout, and I'm willing to acknowledge that. And for black women, the chance is 37%, but for black men, and 53% for black men. So there's a huge disparity. Let's see why. Maybe they'll find out. Maybe we'll be able to tell. Why did that just happen to me? Let's go back. All right. So probability that a first marriage will survive among women. So Asian, 10% or 83%, 10 years. Hispanic, 73. White, 68. Black, 56. 15 years, they don't tell the age or they don't give me their numbers. But for 20 years, 37 white, 53, Hispanic 54, Asian 69. Oh, give me a second. All right. Now let's see where were we at. All right, among men, all right, 53% black men. Another factor linked to long-lasting marriage is whether the couples live together before tying the knot. In short, couples who live together before getting married had a slightly lower chance of having a long-term marriage than those who did not live together. Oh, that is interesting. Yeesh. I wonder why. All right. Couples that live together beforehand are slightly less likely to survive a long haul. Probably that the first marriage will survive at least 20 years among women percentage. Did not cohabitate before marriage is 57. Cohabitate before is 46. Okay, so education and living together. Among women who did not live with their spouse before getting married for the first time, 57% can expect to still be married after 20 years. For women who live with their spouse before marriage, the probability of being married for at least 20 years is somewhat lower. Whether the couple was engaged when they lived together did not make a difference in the woman's chance of lasting a long-lasting marriage. Whether the couples were engaged when they lived together didn't make a difference. Okay. For men, the patterns are slightly different. In this case, it matters whether men are engaged to a partner they lived with before getting married, and then men who lived with their future spouses without being engaged had a slightly lower chance of having a long-term marriage, 49%, than those who were engaged first, 57. Okay, men who didn't live with their partner before getting married had a 60% chance of celebrating their 20-year anniversary. Oh. Okay, so that plays a part. But here, that 57, what was it? Okay, 37 for black women, 53 for black men. Why is that? Now, I know some part of it will probably account for dating out or interracial marriages, right? I'm assuming that will be part of it. It don't explain. No. So let me do the math real quick. All right, 53 minus 37 is a 16% difference. Wait a minute. About 15% of the men do date out, so maybe that could be it. It's a 16% difference. I wonder if they got any more information on that. Huh. So we'll make a hypothesis. We'll have to come back. We'll double back. Somebody mark this. Somebody timestamp this. Somebody mark it with their markers of marking this. Mark. The reason why I date out is because black women. Yo. All right. Somebody mark it. We got to look back as to why that may be the case. Okay, so let's read that again just a minute. And for Black women, the chance is 37%. So there's a distinct pattern in marriage longevity rate by race and ethnicity. Some of those differences could be related to educational differences by or Asian women who are among the most educated. So I guess it would depend on if they're marrying somebody educated and Black. I don't know. Let's see, because this is all for the educational differences for the women. So the most educated are more likely than other racial groups or ethnic groups to have a long, but they mainly date white, right? Asians don't really be with Asians like that. So it could be across, it could be the what do you call it? It could be the interracial thing. Most Hispanics is with Hispanics for sure. And then they were saying Asian men are just out of the picture when it comes to this. All right. The sample size is too small for Asian men. And that I'm guessing because they're not with Asian women. Geez, so it could be an interracial thing. Because the difference between 53 and 37 is 16%, and 15% of 15% of Black men do date out, from my understanding. It's an 85% that Black men are with Black women. So that other 15 could be that edge. Who knows? I don't know. I don't have enough information right now. But that's a good hypothesis. Why is that? Right? Of course, that leaves a little hole, a little gap. Wait a minute. This is December 24th, 2015. Why did it say 2026? Oh, it must have been when I put it in that format. Okay. Yeah, it's 2015. I did read something more recent. Okay. I think I may have sent it. Actually, may have sent it to him. Let me see if I can find it. But anyway, we'll continue the conversation. It ain't over. It ain't over. Where is that? Give me a second. Give me a second. Ah, here it is. All right. So it is a Pew Research, but it must be newer. Hmm. Or no, it's not. What is this? Andrew Court. Nope. Higher ed relationship. Oh, it is the Iowa State. Okay. So it is an Iowa State one. There's that one, and there's Okay. And this one is posted July 8th, 2025. That is the more updated one. All right. Higher ed's relationship with marriage. It's complicated and depends on age. So that is what I was looking at. All right. Well, that as well as the Pew Research. So education rates are rising, marriage rates are falling, but the relationship between those two trends isn't straightforward. The longer someone stays in school, the more likely they are delayed to get married. Let me just do this. And the longer someone stays in school, the more likely they are delayed getting married. But education does not reduce the overall likelihood of being married later in life. According to our research recently published, Education Economics, education also influences who Americans marry. Obtaining a 4-year degree versus just a high school diploma more than doubles someone's likelihood of marrying fellow college graduate. Previous research has documented that the more education you have, the more likely you are to get married, but correlation does not imply casualty. And plenty of other factors influence marriage and education. My research with economist Kunwan, that's a weird name. Kunwan On. All right, Come On provides evidence that there is indeed a causal link between education and marriage, but it's a nuanced one. Our study applies economic theory and advanced statistics into a 2016 to 2019 sample from the American Community Survey, more than 8 million people, whom we divided into different cohorts based on birthplace, birth year, and self-reported ancestry. To isolate the causal relationship, we need to sidestep other factors that can influence someone's decision about marriage and education. Therefore, we did not calculate based on individuals' own education level. Instead, we estimated their educational attainment using a proxy, their mother's level of education on the individual level. Plenty of people finish more or less educated than their partners. Within a cohort, however, the amount of schooling that mothers have on average is a strong predictor of how much education children in the cohort receive. We found that an additional year of schooling, counting from first grade to the end of any postgraduate degrees, reduced the likelihood that someone ages 25 to 34 is married by roughly 4 percentage points. Counting from first grade to the end of any post-grad year reduces the likelihood. So, okay, that's interesting. All right, among older age groups, the effect of education were more mixed. On average, the level of education has almost zero impact on the probability that someone aged 45 to 54 is married. Among people who were married by that age, being more educated reduces their likelihood of being divorced or separated. So this goes back to that time frame, I guess. So 54 being married among that group. But why would they do it based off of the mother? Okay. We already read that. However, more education also makes people slightly more likely to have never been married by that age. In our sample, about 12% of people in that age group have never married. An additional year of education increased that on average by 2.6 percentage points. Okay, so the more likely in our sample, 12% of people. All right, why it matters. Marriage rates are at historical lows in the United States, especially for young people. Before 1970, more than 80% of Americans 25 to 38 were married. Okay, by 2023, the number had fallen to only 38%, according to the data from the U.S. Census Bureau. Over the same time, the percentage of Americans with college degrees has increased considerably. Additional education can increase someone's earning potential and make them more attractive partners. Yet the rising cost of higher education may make marriage less attainable. A 2016 study found that the more college debt someone had, the less likely they were to ever marry. Oh, let's see if we can open that one up. Oh, that's key. Let's see. Verify you're human. I guess we'll read that after the fact. Accept all cookies, student loans, or marriage. I'll look at highly educated. All right. We'll look at this study too right after this because I have it open another tab. While marriage rates have fallen across the board, the drop is most pronounced for lower income groups. And not all of the gap is driven by education. One of the other causes may be declining job prospects for lower income men, which is kind of tied into education, which would be tied into, okay. All right. Over recent decades, as their earning potential has dwindled and women's job options have grown, it appears some of the economic benefits of marriage have declined. Decline in marriage rates have important effects on individuals, families, and society as a whole. Many people value the institution for its own sake, and others assign it importance based on religious, cultural, and social values. Economically, marriage has important consequences for children, including how many children people have and the resources that they can invest in those children. Okay, so there's some key things to take to this. I think that study, where is it at? 2016, That 2016 study finding that the more college debt someone had, the less likely they were to ever marry. That's key. So the more debt they have, the less likely. But also this part here, one of the other causes is decline in job prospect for lower income men. And you're more likely not going to have a declining job prospect if you don't have a higher education. Over recent decades, their earning potential has dwindled and the woman's job options have grown. So the lower income men likely being tied in lower education, but the higher job opportunities and options will come with those women that get more education. So that's what makes it more nuanced. It appears some of the economic benefits of marriage have declined. Okay. All right. So what still isn't known? Education levels are only part of the explanation for trends in marriage rates. Other cultural, social, economic, and technological factors are likely involved in the overall decline, but their exact contribution is still unknown. One idea gaining traction, though little research has been done on it, consider the way smartphones and social media may be reducing psychological and social well-being. We stay in more, go out less, and are increasingly divided, all of which could make people less likely to marry. But based off of what this is saying, it still seems like education plays a part into that, though. We found that an additional year of schooling counting from first grade to the end of any post-grad degree increases. Okay. Where was it at? To isolate the casual relationship, we need to sidestep other factors that can influence someone's decision about marriage and education. Therefore, we did not calculate based on individual. So this part is different. We didn't calculate it based on the individual's own educational level. Instead, we estimated their educational attainment using a proxy, their mother's level of education. On the individual level, plenty of people finish more or less education than their parents. Yeah, but what is that? Okay. Our study applies economic theory and advanced statistics to the 2016-19. Okay. All right. My research proves that evidence that there is a causal link between education, but it's nuanced one. All right. Previous research has documented that more education you have, more likely. Correlation does not imply causality. Plenty of other factors influence marriage and education. Right, but this the part right here. The longer someone stays in, the more likely they are delay getting married. But education does not reduce the overall likelihood of being married later in life, according to our research. Okay, so this one seems to be more up to date, but they use a totally different way to go about this. They're using a economic standpoint. Our studies apply economic theory and advanced statistics to a 2000. All right, so let's look at the study. Let's see if we can find something. Let's see if we can find something else. That is interesting. And I trust Iowa State, so it's not like I'm being critical of it or I'm saying it's not true. It's just they're using something very different to come about their conclusion. They're not using direct evidence or direct degree being attained by the individual. They're using it based off of the mother, which is also interesting. But here's the key part that I'm still kind of looking at is education also education does not reduce the overall likelihood of being married later in life. So even with that being the case, it's not necessarily disproving the peer research. It's just saying it's more nuanced. And why would you do anyway? All right, let's go back. Let's go to this. Let's see what this student loans or marriage. This is interesting. Now, this is something that I have not seen. All right, student loans or marriage. A look at the highly educated. Skip to main content. Skip the article. All right, let me get out of this. All right, highlight. Student debt is linked to lower probability of first marriage for MBA students. The magnitude of the relationship decreases with age. Some borrowers may not be fully aware of this relationship. Education expenditures and debt are correlated with expected marital status. Abstract. I examine the relation between student loans and marriage status among individuals considering or pursuing graduate management education using data from a panel survey of registrants for the graduate management admission test. I showed that the amount of accumulated student debt is negatively related to the probability of first marriage. Okay, that would make sense. And that would be key, right? The strength of the relationship diminishes with age. More, okay, so he's saying the strength of the relationship between student loan debt diminishes with age. So the older you are, the less likely that is going to matter. All right, more so for women than for men. Well, that would make that makes sense. A nigga will take a woman with some student debt as long as she bad enough. But a woman, I don't know. They probably, well, you got so much debt, nigga. You got debt too, though. All right, let's see. At the median age for the sample, 24 years at test registration, the estimated decrease over a 7-year period is between 3 to 4 percentage points per $10,000 in student debt for men. And percentage point lower in absolute value for women. I use information on reported marriage expectations to show evidence that education expenditures and the amount of debt are correlated with anticipated marital status. But borrowers may not have perfect foresight about the long-term consequences of accumulated debt, student debt. Okay, sure. All right, now we get into it. All right, so let me make it go back to my play. Keyword: student loan, time to marry. Okay. Introduction: the size of the student debt has been growing over the size of student debt has been growing over the past 4 decades, especially among graduate students. 2/3 of graduate degrees are financed through loans. The average amount of federal loans per full-time equivalent graduate students in 2012 dollar increase from $9,000 in the 1997-98 academic year to $16,000 in the 2012-2013, while the corresponding change for the undergraduate students was from 3,000 to 49. Okay. It's just going up, dude. God damn. All right. Among master's degrees recipients in 2012, 27% had accumulated between 40,000 to 79 to 80,000 in undergraduate and graduate loans, while 17% borrowed more for their post-secondary education. The increase in borrowing is to a large extent due to rising costs. So inflation, adjusted tuition, and fees at master's business administration programs increased more than twofold between 1992 to 2010, a growth rate that has not been matched by the growth in average starters' salaries. So they're getting this stuff, and it's not even being matched one-on-one to their salaries. Okay. In the light of the increase in debt burdens of post-secondary students, there has been an onset of a discussion about the long-term implication of debt accumulated for post-secondary education. Several recent studies have examined the impact of student loans on the career choices that graduates make. Minicozy in 2005 finds that education debt is correlated with higher earnings right after college, but lower four-year wage growth and attributes the observed difference to borrowers making different career choices when faced with higher post-graduation interest rates compared to non-borrowers. Okay. That was in 2005. So what happens in 2011? All right. Similarly, Rothstein and Rose, 2011, find that undergraduate students' borrowers from a highly selected university are less likely to choose jobs in lower paying sectors like government, nonprofit, and education. They argue that both credit constraints and psychic costs can explain the observed difference and present some evidence in favor of the former. Using an experiment involving financial aid, assist at the top field 2009 finds that the law students' career choices are also sensitive to holding education debt in a way that is consistent with the psychic or social cost of debt. Okay. A negative relationship between student debt and household financial stability is found in Gicheva and Thompson, 2015, while Brown and Caldwell, 2013, used descriptive statistics from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York Consumer Credit Panel / Equifax data set to show that between 2008 and 2012, home ownership rates fell faster for 30-year-olds with student debt compared to similarly aged individuals without educational loans. Well, that makes sense because you also had the crash that happened. So they got mortgage debt and then they have student debt. And of course, you got to pick between the two. Yeah. That makes sense to me, though. Why would that? Okay. In addition, during the same time period, holding student loans is associated with lower Equifax credit scores for 25 and 30-year-old individuals. In this paper, I investigate further the ways in which loans for post-secondary degrees affect recent graduates beyond the direct effect of education and show that the impact is not limited to the career choices or observable measures of financial status. Little academic research has been done on the role of student debt on the decision to start a family, in part because the relationship between the student debt and marriage is complex. Selection and unobserved heterogeneity are likely confounding factors. Okay. I avoid many of the existing empirical issues by using a very homogeneous sample in terms of background and the type of program respondents enrolled in or considering attending. Okay, so what did you use? I used a panel survey of men and women who registered to take the graduate management admission test between 1990 to 1991. Okay, so how old would they be at the time of the study then? 1990. Let's see. Well, I guess they'll give me the age. All student loans and these data are occurred for the same type of education, MBA. I find a negative relationship between the student loans and marriage outcomes. The strength of the relationship diminishes with age, more so for women than for men. That makes sense. At the median age for the sample, 24 years at test registration, and the estimated decrease over a 7-year period is between 3 to 4 percentage points per $10,000 in student debt for men and a percentage point lower in absolute value for women among younger respondents, those who were 21 years old at test registration, and corresponding decrease in the probability of marriage is 5 percentage points for men and 7 percentage points for women. Okay. The broad interpretation of these results is that conditional on educational attainment, student loans appear to be associated with changes in borrowers' consumption and spending patterns after graduation. Also found that education expenditures and the amount of debt are correlated with the anticipation marital status prior to enrollment, even when program quality and alternative funding are held consistent, which suggests that decisions about marriage and education investments are most likely made jointly. Okay, I'm starting to understand. I'm starting to get it. But the main thing, I think the key part of this, though, is it is a very gendered thing. So for women, I can understand that not necessarily being a bigger issue the older they get is because as long as at least this is my assumption, this is my hypothesis. They didn't say so in the study. As long as she still looks good enough and the man is making enough money, her debt to income ratio won't really affect the entirety of the relationship. But for guys, you are the debt income ratio. That would matter more, especially because the expectation for women is that you'd probably make more than them. Like that doesn't necessarily change. Okay, well, let's see. All right, the timing of student loans is appropriate for the investigation of the relationship between debt and family formation, because it is common for the accumulation of student debt to precede marriage. That makes sense. The reasons for accumulating other types of debt may be related to marriage outcomes in even more complex ways, so it would be harder to disentangle all of the confounding factors. For example, credit card debt may be used to pay for wedding expenditures, which is why stop with all that extra big wedding shit, bro. Just go to the courthouse and do that shit when y'all 40 or something. I don't know why you gotta have a big ass wedding, buy this big ass ring. All carrots don't mean anything, bro. All of that extra. Anyway, for example, credit card debt may be used to pay for wedding expenditures, which would result in a positive relationship between debt and probability of being married. Medical bills are another common source of debt, and health problems may also have a direct effect on marriage. Additionally, in most cases, these loans cannot be discharged in personal bankruptcy. Oh, wow. Wow. So even if you go bankrupt, still there. Finally, the data used in the study allow me to investigate a borrowing decision that is fairly uniform across the sample. Contextual framework. There are several. All right. What is this showing me though? All right, let me. Organizational access. No. All right. Conceptual framework. There are several mechanisms that can generate a relationship between the student loans and the marital status. The relationship can operate through education. Better educated individuals may fare better in the marriage market due to increased earning potentials or differences in preferences. Educational attainment and marriage decisions may jointly reflect exogenous changes in the cost of investing in human capital. Okay, I need to look this up. Okay, exogenous refers to something that originates, develops, or is produced outside of a system organism. Oh, okay. Got it. So outside changes, or changes that don't necessarily develop within something. Okay. So educational attainment and marriage decisions may jointly reflect outside changes in the cost of investing in human capital. Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense to me now. All right, data. The data set used in this study is 4-wave panel surveys of registrants for the graduate management admission test. It is typically MBA students to graduate with large amount of student debt. Student loans and marriage. The conceptual framework outlined in section 2 suggests that conditional and educational attainment, we should see a decline in the probability of transitioning into marriage associated with holding more student debt. The relationship between borrowing and marital status is investigated in table 2. The reported results are average marginal effects from prohibitive models with heteroscedasticity, robust standard errors in which the dependent variable is an indicator for transition into marriage at what? Oh, okay. So Where are the tables? Like, I'm looking for that. Aww. Metrics. Captures. Oh, it's only giving me, okay. It's not giving me the entire thing. It's the preview. Okay, so we can't even really get into it. Get full text access. Let's look at the conclusion. All right. The study provides a partial look at the complex relationship between the choice of educational investment, the amount of accumulated student debt, and the timing of the marriage. The analysis in this paper is focused on one type of graduate education, Masters of Business Administration, which reduces the complexity driven by the many ways in which these variables can interact, incorporating respondent reports, marriage expectations, and taking alternate funding and programs quality into. Okay. I can't really get into the article like I would want to. But at the end of the day, there seems to be it's more complicated, a little bit more complex than just saying having a education guarantees a higher overall levels of education only correlated with higher likelihood of material success or marital success. So based off of these two, this is Pew Research and it is older. This is more recent. It just takes it uses a different formula. It's using a economic formula more so than it is is using an economic formula by this guy, Kuan An. And the Pew Research was using the same formula that they use to calculate life expectancy. So lower divorce rates research shows that women with a college degree have roughly 80% chance of their first marriage lasting 20 years or longer. But just based off of what's being shown, it's not as if they've completely dismantled this. And hell, they're even saying for women, the debt to educational level income doesn't necessarily matter later on in life. And that would make sense because the expectation for men is that they still foot the bill on most things. And that's another study shows that. I don't know. So I won't say this is inconclusive, but there is a challenge or something to consider even more. They're not saying that it's not true. They're just saying that there's more to consider. And based off of that article, we couldn't even completely read from the student loan marriage. They weren't saying that that's not the case still. So it's still showing me what I need to show. And based off what I'm seeing, let's see if we can find something else. Okay. Let's see what this one says. This is 2023. All right. Did you know that there may be a correlation between divorce and education level? Studies found that the marriage of college-educated couples seem to last longer than they did 30 years ago. And they're using that same cohort, 2016 to 2010. Nearly 78% of college-educated women who were married for the first time between 2006 and 2010 can expect that. So it's basically quoting the same thing. All right, I'll read it because it may give me a different interpretation, but they're pulling from the same group that the Pew Research was pulling from. All right. God, bro, you see what you have to do to like debunk something or learn something? You got to read. You got to do a lot of it. And you don't just read from Like, that's what I'm saying. So I get why people won't do this, but damn it, somebody's got to. Fuck it. All right, studies show a link between higher education and divorce rates. Let me do this. It's so much better for me to read it like this. Recent studies have shown that there is a significant correlation between higher education and divorce rate. Let's start with the question. Divorce is least common among people with which of the following levels of education? So that's the question. Is it A, bachelor's degree? Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I got to put my music on. Divorce is least common among people with which of the following levels of education? Is it A, bachelor's degree or higher? Is it B, some college? Or is it C, high school diploma or less? My guess is A. I was right. All right, anyway. If you said bachelor's degree or higher, you're right. Research conducted by the National Center of Family and Marriage Research at Bowling Green State University discovered that individuals with higher levels of education tend to have lower divorce rates compared to those with lower levels of education. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau backs up those findings with similar numbers. Let's take, oh, wow. So now we got that U.S. Census Bureau as well. And this is from a more recent one. I think this is June 9th, 2023. So this is the most recent outside of that Iowa State research paper that we looked, and they did a totally different, they used a totally different formula method. We'll just say method. Fuck it. All right. All right. So data from the U.S. Census Bureau backs up those findings with similar numbers. Let's take a closer look at the data on divorce rate by education level, bachelor's degree or higher. According to the U.S. Census Bureau in 2019, so this is more recent, the divorce rate for individuals with a bachelor's degree or higher was 25.9%. This suggests that individuals with higher education levels, such as bachelor's degree or beyond, tend to have lower divorce rates. Lower divorce rates compared to individuals with lower levels of education, some college or associate degree. Individuals with some college education or associate degree also tend to have lower divorce rates compared to those with lower education levels. The Census Bureau reported the divorce rate for individuals with some college education is 36.3, while the divorce rate for those with an associate's degree was 30.1. This further supports the correlation between higher education levels and lower divorce rates. High school diploma or less. In contrast, individuals with lower levels of education, such as high school diploma or less, tend to have higher rates of divorce. The divorce rate for individuals with a high school diploma was 38.8, while the divorce rate for those with less than a high school diploma is 45.3. The data consistently suggests that higher education levels are associated with lower divorce rate and vice versa. This correlation underscores the importance of education in promoting marital stability and resilience. Okay. Factors influencing the relation between divorce and education. Why do people with less education have higher likelihood of divorce? Now, these are the questions. This is what we was looking for. That's weird. Don't do that. All right, let me see. All right, so why do people with less education have higher likelihood of divorce? Several factors may contribute to the relationship between divorce and education. Economic stability. Higher education levels are often associated with better job opportunities and higher income levels, which can contribute to financial security in marriage. Economic instability and financial strains have been identified as risk factors for divorce, as they can lead to increased stress, conflict, and strain on the relationship. All right, access to support. Individuals with higher education levels may have greater access to resources and support networks that can help them navigate marital challenges and resolve conflicts, which can contribute to lower divorce rates. Okay, that makes sense. All of those things make sense. And cognitive skills. Oh God, here this I feel like this probably should be number one. Another factor that may influence the education divorce relationship is the impact of education on individuals' communication skills. I would guarantee it is. And I'm not saying it because I'm a college educated person. I am not. I am dumb as a box of rocks, and I am not college educated at all. So it's not even like I could say that, but I could see this. Decision-making abilities and conflict resolution strategies. Higher educated levels are associated with better cognitive and social skills. And that makes sense. When you go to college, you got to interact with other people. All right, which can enhance individuals' ability to communicate effectively, make informed decisions, and resolve conflicts in a constructive manner. These skills are essential in maintaining healthy and resilient relationships, including marital relationships, and may contribute to lower divorce rates among individuals with higher education levels. It is important to note that relationships between education levels and divorce rates are complex. So it seems they are giving more nuance and more leeway, and I think I should do the same as well. So while there is a link, so this is where the famous term correlation does not mean causation or causation. I'll look it up. Anyway, while these trends may be present, you cannot simply determine someone's divorce rate by their education level. That makes sense, and that is typically, I would agree. Oh shit! Hey. What's up? The real Leslie, and then also Queen Sigma. Hey, what's good? Oh, and Travel One. I did not see Travel One. But anyway, that's key. All right. So while these trends may be present, you cannot simply determine one's divorce rate by their education levels. Many other factors such as age, income, cultural norms, and personal beliefs about marriage and divorce also play a role. And I would agree with that, right? But what we will find is it goes against that stupid stat that most of these manosphere, red pill, blah, say blah, that the higher educated woman, it means she gets a higher rate of divorce. Based off of what we've read and what we've seen, that is not the case. We can debunk that. Now, what we can say is there is a correlation between higher education and lower divorce rates, but it isn't mean it's absolute or the sole purpose or reason as to why those rates are lower. I will accept that and can move on. Yeah, that's true. Now, this is the last thing I'm looking up and I'm out of here, right? It is a Sunday afternoon and yeah. All right. Educated women. All right, give me a second. Gotta look. What is? All right, so I guess what do educated women? What was it? What? Okay. Do educated women place more value on all right, so do educated women place more value on money or education, right? Because that's the other thing too. All right, so educated women generally report. All right, educated women generally view education as not. So where is this coming from? All right, so let's see what this is. Women outperform men in education attainment, but still earn less. All right, over time, women have increasingly turned that. So I think we went over this before. All right, in the reports, women still earn 92 cents for every man on a dollar. Woman with a bachelor's degree, report found, earns about the same as a man with an associate's degree. 61, likewise, women with a master's degree earn about the same as men with a bachelor's. I think we went over this. It depends on, so that's not what I'm looking for. According to the demographic research from Pew Research, college educated women are highly likely to value personal and intellectual growth that education provides. In fact, okay, let's see. Okay. So this is old. Do we have any more recent ones? August 11th or August 17, 2011. Education, lifetime earnings, women's with bachelor. Lifetime earnings by education. Same men with bachelors earn approximately. Oh my God. This is, oh, but we knew this already too. All right. There's a substantial difference in lifetime earnings by educational attainment. Men with bachelor degrees earn almost $900,000 more in median lifetime earnings. High school graduates, women with bachelor degrees earn 630,000 more. Men with graduate degrees earn 1.5 million more in median lifetimes than high school. Women with graduate degrees earn 1.1 million more. Okay, so I guess the other part. All right. Do women with education want men with education? Let me just look that up. Yes, Salvation would prefer to date, marry with similar levels of this preference is driven by desire, intellectual equity, shared values, and similar social economic backgrounds. Okay, so these are the things that I think matter. The marriageability gap because women currently outpace men in college enrollment and degree completion. Statistical mismatch occurs. This has led to a small pool of comparably educated marriageable men, forcing many women to either adjust their expectations or remain single longer. Okay. Mm. Now, what was it? I remember reading an article dealing with women in expectation. The women that have a degree don't expect their man to foot the entire bill. They're willing to help. That is something that I saw. All right. Well, anyway, I'm about tired. Well, I'm about tired. And I'm in live 3 hours too. That's a good little bit. But the main takeaways, we got to stop with the whole women in basket weaving degrees. That's just not the case. That is not the case. Women are not getting, on average, they're not getting the basket weaving degrees that y'all are claiming. And when it comes to tech or STEM, And what we had saw, they're outpacing men in that as well, or within each group. So I don't know. I don't know what we're trying to argue. Men are not getting the same level of education, nor are they getting the same level of degree certifications. Men are not able to, or men are not doing those things. And when it comes to the degrees that do matter, women are outpacing the men almost a 2-to-1 ratio. What was it in the science and engineering science and engineering technologies, right? We done the math. We did it all on stream. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. I don't know who or what y'all want to argue about no more. I'm done. We can't keep doing this thing where we try to downplay, degrade, whatever, devalue the level of education and the attainment and the effects it has on not only an individual but the people that they associate with. So if somebody gets married and they're educated, their life is bound to be improved. The likely chance of their marriage being 20 or having the longevity of their marriage is higher, not strictly due to the education, but that has a part to play in it. These are all facts. So women are not just sitting here getting education and just the dumbest degrees and they that. Nope. We looked it up. That's not the case. And whatever education they're getting, men are not getting at an equal rate. We got to stop. But I know we won't because men. Oh my God, Kazi? But not even men. It's really not men. It's the gender war. Because I know if I found some stats that were good for men, or whatever the case would be, women would not be on the board. It really is just a gender war. I don't even want to say it's just the boys. Because the first thing you're gonna do is, well, they started it. And then the women gonna go, well, they started it. And just like it happened on Hamp's channel, he had Taz, and Fantastic and Beans, and we was all there. Me and him both looking at it like, bro, I told you don't nobody know who started it if you come into it. I ain't been around for Ricky Lake and all that old people shit that y'all said started the whole war. I guess that was y'all that Ricky Lake shit was y'all's Pearl Harbor. They did it kamikaze. Oh Lord, they struck first. We got to get in the war. We got to do it. They've been striking us for years. They've been striking us for years, and men never had a voice, and we never could do it. We can never fight back. And now we got internet, and we can fight back. We can do it. I'm not against that. All right, fight back, nigga. Fine. But it gets to a point where like people that's younger than you gonna be like, oh, he 50 and fighting? Nigga, go lay down. Go find you a girlfriend. Stop fucking all the young hoes, please. Stop smash somebody your own age. Find somebody your age, please, bro. Stop smashing people my age. Stop it. Matter of fact, you too old to be having sex. Just get a vasectomy and go somewhere. All right, bro. These niggas around here want to smash people 30 years younger than them. And that's not a problem. I really don't care. Well, I'm not representing me right now. I'm representing the young folks. Stop smashing people our age. Go mess with Chandra Leak. That's 40, please. All these old niggas want to smash someone young. Nigga, go either retire, get married, go do something manly and consistent. Stop fucking around like you still a teenager. How about that? These niggas gonna go to Thailand and watch. Anyway, I think we covered enough for today. We had to We had to though. I'm so tired of this idea of not having a good faith conversation because we're not trying to be logical. If I look it up and it's verified or it's whatever it's called, not verified, but what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say. We looked this up. Just look it up instead of just spewing it and saying that all they get is bullshit degrees and they really don't make more money than the average man. Everything I've looked up, with the exception of that 2018 post, because the more frequent stars are saying the other way around, bro. Women are starting to out earn men. It's starting to get. We want to see some changes. That house husband thing that y'all was making fun of, it's not gonna be so taboo. Just watch. It ain't gonna be so taboo. I'm telling you. And when it happens, just remember, I told you so. With that being the case, y'all, man, y'all have a good day. I'll go do something. Go be outside. I gotta be outside myself. So I'll catch y'all later.
Welcome to the show. Sit back and enjoy the show. Let the combo unfold. Try to learn something brand new. Facts over feelings. Don't get in your feelings. Sometimes you can't be wrong too. Don't be stubborn. We can hear you have an open mind to these issues. We can always have the convo. We can cover any issue as long as we can just be honest. And we won't have to dismiss you. So let's be honest. Expand our worldview. We can laugh now, but also learn too. It's the C-Banter Show. Real and genuine combo. It's okay not to know. That's what we're all here for. We cannot stay so ignorant. If we say we wanna grow, that's why we have to look it up. And that's what we do on the show. So let's just sit down and have the convo. Don't let your emotions disrupt the flow.